All right, so this is just to briefly, again, describe the homework in case you missed it or were a little bit confused about how to construct it. But, excuse me, linear perspective is not only going to be very useful for us for describing certain kind of architectural scenes observationally, but it's also going to be almost essential for us if we ever want to invent anything, which, at least for me, I'm hoping is going to become a pretty major component of the last half of this class, is inventing objects in a space. So to begin with, I just want a very simple kind of assignment where we are going to begin combining observed and invented objects. So just as a brief example, I want us to start, come on, my tablet's kind of wigging out a little bit. I want us to start describing an observational room. And I recommend doing it in 1-point perspective because it's going to be a little simpler in 2-point perspective. But whereas normally, again, we always want to start with our horizon line and our vanishing point, whereas normally we're kind of beginning with the front face of a box and then connecting those corners out to our vanishing point. Here, we are going to be doing the opposite. We're going to start with a box, which represents the back wall of our room, the far side of the room away from us, and then we're going to be extending lines out from that, which represent where the floor meets the the floor meets the ceiling, and so on and so forth. So we'll get something a little more like this, and darkening these lines should make come on. There we go. Should make the illusion of this room a little more obvious. And so for me, I'm sitting in my living room, so I'm going to begin constructing some of the objects that I see. But for example, I see a doorway back here, and I'm going to be very loose and sketchy because I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long of you watching me make a drawing. But I'm starting by observing information and understanding that it is still going to follow the laws of perspective. So for example, over here, I'm drawing a kind of couch. And that the top and the bottom of the couch are still going to recede to the vanishing point because it's a roughly rectilinear object that's at right angles to the room. There's a kind of hutch over here. There's another door. All these orthogonals receding to that vanishing point. There's a chair over here. And you can, continue constructing this space as well defined as you want, using the laws of linear perspective. But in addition to what I'm observing in this space, I want us to draw at least one object that is entirely invented. And this could be any number of things. It could be as simple as, if you remember, we talked about how to, place evenly spaced objects. Maybe I'm going to, tile my floor in an intricate kind of way. I may, I'll post a video online that shows how to draw ellipses with perspective, which we're going to be talking about in class, but maybe I'll want to use that information to construct some kind of very, maybe elaborate chandelier that hangs above my room. It could be, if this is my bedroom, maybe I'm going to replace my bed with some kind of, really fancy 4-post bed with the curtains and everything, which is, again, essentially a large box. It could be something entirely invented. So the example that I gave in class would be, I can make anything that I can conceive of as a series of boxes in perspective. So maybe I can kind of imagine a sort of, like 1950s sci-fi kind of robot man, and I can, construct him out of boxes maybe sort of sitting on my living room floor. But anything, and again, I'm being very sort of quick and sketchy with this. This is only as short as I could possibly make it. But anything that I can imagine as existing out of a series of boxes is something that I can use perspective to help me create. I highly recommend two things. The first, I highly recommend that you work on your large sketchbook paper, so 18 by 24. I also highly recommend that you, if you're having any troubles, watch the other videos that I've posted. They should all be on the Canvas site, and they should explain how to do all these things in fairly deep detail. If you have any questions, please email me, and I'll try my best to answer them. Other than that, hopefully for Monday, a drawing of an observed space in 1 point or 2 point, but I recommend 1 point perspective, with at least one entirely invented object of significant scale inserted into the scene. I don't want you to, draw your whole room exactly the way you see it, and then you invent, you tell me that the coaster on the table is invented. It should be something relatively significant, but I trust you all to do that. And again, if you have any questions, email me, watch the other videos. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing what you come up with.